Hi, this is video number 325. The weather today is beautiful. It's actually very cool out this morning. I was sitting out on the porch this morning on, we have a concrete slab for a porch out front. I was sitting there doing my Sudoku, drinking coffee, and I was getting pretty cold. My bottom was pretty cold by the time I came in. Beautiful day though, nice and sunny, blue sky, nice. Supposed to get some rain later this week, I guess, from Irma, the hurricane, which is now no longer a hurricane, I guess. Yesterday, no video. I spent the day pretty much vegging out on puzzles and watching football and different things. Seems like once a week I just need to veg out and do nothings to relax, because I don't know if it's my age or what, hard to say. Took Eli to church yesterday. Oh boy. Well, I'm not sure about him. I think it's impossible for him to sit still. I don't think it's, unless he's sitting on my lap and we're watching Minecraft or something. He moves around and he starts talking, and he's in this other world. And so we're sitting there in church in the service, and he just was getting too, I don't know, loud or something. So I said, why don't we just, I didn't get upset. I said, why don't we just go out to the lobby here? So we went out there, and even in the lobby, he couldn't be still. I don't know what we'll do about that. Maybe we'll just skip the first part of the service, and partway through the service they have the children go and do their thing, their Sunday school and that. So maybe we'll just go there in time for that. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. Saturday, after his haircut, we did go to the German Fest. That was pretty cool. I got what was called a sampler. It had schnitzel in it. It was actually a chicken schnitzel, not pork. Sauerbraten, which is like a roast beef kind of sauerkraut thing. That was good. And a stuffed cabbage. I'm not sure what it was stuffed with. Maybe some kind of pork, I'm not sure. And then potato salad and some red cabbage. It was pickled. It was a lot of food, but it was good. That was really, really good. More food than I needed. It's funny, while I was there waiting to get my food, somebody came up to me. Some lady came up to me and looked me straight in the face and said, "Hey, Don." And it was one of those, I've had two of those moments now in the last week or so, where I know this person, and I can't, luckily for both times they told me who they were. Her name is Amy. She used to work, I worked for the Department of Environmental Protection when I was when I was employed for the state. And I worked in what was called Central Office here in Harrisburg. It's downtown in Harrisburg. She worked in one of the regional offices, the Wilkes-Barre office, which is Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Okay, Scranton, if you've ever watched The Office, the comedy, it takes, the office there is in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Dunder Mifflin Paper Company is, it's not actually there, I don't think, but that's where it takes place. So she was from the Wilkes-Barre office, which is next to Scranton, and she always was only two people in the department did risk assessment analysis, reviews for risk assessments. I was one, and there was another guy, and she always would send me risk assessments because nobody else knew how to do them. And so she was telling me how that was so great and everything but she retired a few years ago at the age of 52, which is really, really early. I retired at 57, but then she started talking about things she's doing now, and she started talking about reviews from the past, when way back years ago. And she always was very meticulous, and she still is kind of that way, apparently. She was talking about all kinds of things, but it was kind of cool to see her. I hadn't seen her in so long. It's just, I saw her face and I thought, I know this person. And she said her name, or I never would have guessed it. I found it amazing that she knew who I was because I had the long white beard and all that, but that was pretty cool. You see, I did my bookkeeping this morning, and a workout. I was just doing a jigsaw puzzle. This is the first one of the year. I'm down to where all the pieces look the same, so it's taken me a while now, but it's that time of the year where I start doing the jigsaw puzzles. I got lots of them to do, so it's always fun to come down here, listen to some jazz, and stand over there at the card table and do the jigsaw puzzle. It's pretty relaxing, really. Okay, I have one Facebook message, which I got, I think it was the day before yesterday. I think it was Saturday. And I can kind of use this as a case study in a way. She sent me a message, I responded, then she sent me another one earlier today, and then I responded. So I want to go over this a little bit and see how it goes. I'll read her message and then my response and so on. Okay. Hi, Dawn. I've written you emails in the past, but have never Facebook messaged you. Now you can put a face with a name. I am the one who wrote you an email in February about my Zoloft taper benzo withdrawal. Well, I kept tapering due to all the scare of updosing and so on. I am at 1/2 of 1/10 of 1 milligram now from 100 milligrams of Zoloft and scared to drop this last tiny bit. I am still in the same boat and still really confused as to why even now after I take this tiny bit of nothing, I can still feel it a bit. Now by maybe 10 or 15% on some days. This is just crazy to me. I'm barely surviving the seconds still, and I'm scared to let go for due to a few reasons. You see the photos I attached, and it was a message from somebody about something having to do with I think withdrawal from Zoloft or something. I'm not sure. I feel I have already made 2 biggest mistakes of my life. 1, getting on the meds, and 2, getting off. And I don't want to make a 3rd. I fear if I get off, go a year, and end up desperate, the reinstatement won't work, and I will be permanently in this state that I can barely survive. However, how long can I just sit here at this small dose? If my brain is that sensitive to these drugs, and I have had no change in my pattern in over a year, isn't this keeping my brain in a state of confusion? Do I need to make a decision for healing? I just feel stuck, Dawn. I know you can't tell me what to do, but will you give me any thoughts you have? I am so analytical and keep running all this and more through my head. Will you write me when you have time? Thank you, Dawn. Okay, let me see how much time I have here. Okay, a little background on this lady first. She's been off benzos since 2015. It's about 21 months, I think. She did a 1-year taper of, I think it was Xanax. And let me see what else. The Zoloft, she started tapering toward the end. I think she still had 2 months left of her Xanax taper. She started tapering 100 milligrams of Zoloft then, and now she's down after 2 years, very close. She's at 1/20th of a milligram of Zoloft. Okay, that's where she's at right now. So she's been off benzos for 21 months. She's been tapering Zoloft for almost 2 years, and she tapered, I think it was Xanax or whatever the benzo was, for about a year. Okay. Hi, the thing that spoke to me first from your message was the words "scared to let go." It immediately brought to my own mind my own place of fear when I was at the very end of my benzo taper. I was terrified by the thought of having no psychotropic drug in my brain except for the low-dose Remeron I was taking for appetite and sleep. After all, for 13 years I had taken Klonopin every day, and I had drunk alcohol for over 40 years, lots of alcohol. I had no idea what would happen when I finally had 0 benzos and booze in my brain. When I did jump from that tiny bit, nothing noticeable happened. Nothing. I was still in benzo withdrawal, but I didn't suddenly fall apart or go into acute withdrawal. Of course, I also had the fear that the Remeron was impeding my progress with respect to healing from benzo withdrawal. I did try twice to come off the Remeron, rapid taper, while still in withdrawal, but could not do it. When I was finally well from the benzo withdrawal, or very close to it, I came off the Remeron within a week. Okay. Now your situation. First, I want to congratulate you on getting all the way to 1/20th of a milligram, especially while still in benzo withdrawal. That is amazing and speaks to your determination and patience. And it is very amazing. Second, in the most practical sense, you are essentially off the Zoloft with respect to its effectiveness as an antidepressant. 1/20th of a milligram of Zoloft is far from an effective dose. Okay. Then why can you feel each cut? I believe it is simply because your brain is still in benzo withdrawal and is extremely sensitive to any chemical change that occurs in it, to each cut. You may very well feel the last cut of 1/20th of a milligram because it will be a change in the chemistry of your brain, not because your brain needs the Zoloft for its antidepressant effect. As far as the fear that you will never be able to reinstate if things go completely awry after making the final jump, there is no reason for things to go awry, simply because the 1/20th of a milligram is not an effective dose. Okay, you are right. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I would probably do. Since you are so close to being off the Zoloft, I would probably just take the final dose and be drug-free. I think there is a huge psychological benefit in knowing you are off the drug. In a sense, it is a sense of accomplishment and victory. That is the feeling I had when I jumped from Klonopin, even though I did also have some fear about doing it. Okay. The alternative is to stay on the 1/20th milligram Zoloft until your benzo withdrawal is over. That would work too. The brain obviously does heal from benzo withdrawal while one is still on other drugs. I've seen it many times, and it was also my experience. However, since you are so close to being off the Zoloft, I would likely just go for the positive psychological effect of being completely off. Either way should work. Even if you were not taking any other drugs, it is likely you would still not be feeling well because of the benzo withdrawal. It is not unusual to still feel ill at 21 months. You have already made the decision for healing by getting off the benzos. Getting off the Zoloft is just icing on the cake. Okay. So she used the wording decision for healing in a certain kind of way, like getting off the Zoloft, I want to heal. But in effect, like when you get off the benzo, like you've made a decision for healing. But then sometimes there are other drugs too. Okay. So she replied earlier today, thank you so much for this reply, Dawn. I do feel like I may not have articulated myself right through, though, in some parts. In the 4th paragraph back to me, you spoke of me feeling the cuts. It's not that I feel the cuts. It's that I can still feel even this tiny dose of Zoloft take effect and lift the severe, thick depersonalization, derealization, thoughts, fear, and so on by about 10 to 15% if I'm lucky. I don't understand this. And this is where the fear comes of dropping the last bit. I'm going to even lose this tiny bit of connect. She has connect in quotation marks. I don't necessarily fear that things will go awry once I jump, but more so I will lose even this and never get it again without the Zoloft. I will just be 100% 24/7 in this non-human nightmarish state with constant SI, suicidal ideation. I fear my brain won't figure out how to be like it was with the Zoloft, non-depersonalized. Also, in regards to the 6th paragraph, I believe in benzo withdrawal, but I also believe in Zoloft withdrawal. I believe I am in both. I was 75% better before the Zoloft withdrawal. What I'm trying to say is I don't think this is just benzo withdrawal. Someone else has just as severe symptoms just from Zoloft. I just wonder if keeping the tiny increment of Zoloft in my system could be keeping my brain confused. Does that make sense? I apologize if I am all over the place. This is so hard to articulate. In all honesty, I am just completely horrified that my brain is never going to go back. This depersonalization state has me feeling so changed. Zoloft feels like my only hope to be non-depersonalized and derealized, and even then I only feel about 1% hope of that. Thus the fears of reinstatement not working down the road. I just wish God would take me. Thanks, Dawn. It's interesting because I talked to someone earlier this morning on the phone, like having the fear of death and all of the different fears we have in withdrawal, but yet also hoping that God would take her. It's kind of like it's a battle in the brain. It's like you kind of don't want to be alive in this state, and God would just pull you out of it, but yet then you're afraid of dying too. It's like you have two at once. It's just very strange. Anyway, I responded to her. Okay, let me see what time I have here. Okay, 14 minutes. Okay, hi. In many of my videos and writings, I have adamantly recommended that while in benzo withdrawal, it is probably best for one to stay on any other psychotropic drug until benzo withdrawal is over, or at least until one feels pretty good again. The logical basis for this is that while in benzo withdrawal, the brain is rewiring and needs to be as stable as possible to do that, which includes keeping a steady state or level of other psychotropic drugs. Each cut of the other drug requires the brain to change its rewiring plan with respect to the benzo withdrawal. You have been able to very slowly taper the Zoloft while in benzo withdrawal. Very few people can do that without throwing themselves into a much, much nastier withdrawal. That is why I used the word amazing in my first response. And most people can't even do it. People in benzo withdrawal who are told you have to get off all drugs before you're going to get well, like, and they try to get off and they can't, and then that puts them in a very bad place. But I've talked about that before. I don't believe that the 1/20th milligram of Zoloft takes effect in the sense that it is being effective as an antidepressant. Rather, I believe it is providing some stability to the chemistry of the brain, thereby allowing the brain to rewire without having to deal with chemical change in the brain. In reality, I believe you may have been going through a combination of two withdrawals at the same time. Benzo withdrawal for sure, and SSRI withdrawal. For certain, benzo withdrawal. I'm not sure about the Zoloft. That's hard to say. Although she did say when she started the taper for the Zoloft, she had been 75% better before she started that. So that's important too. That speaks to the brain chemistry too, really. But anyway, I would probably jump from the Zoloft because it is not anywhere near an effective dose for an antidepressant, and it is such a small jump that after the brain rewires to adjust to the final cut, it will no longer have to make any subsequent adjustments because the Zoloft will be gone. That would give me a psychological lift to be drug-free. Okay, I know it's very scary to think that you have nothing after that last cut and that you may fall into the abyss. In many ways, it's a mental crutch. I felt exactly the same way, fearing that something horrendous would befall me when it was time for my next dose. Okay, nothing happened. That was just the fear of the benzo withdrawal and nothing more. Okay. Alternatively, you could stay on the 1/20th milligram Zoloft and get rid of it when benzo withdrawal is over. Okay, so that's what we have so far. I don't know if she'll write back to me or not here. I don't know, but anyway, it speaks to in this particular situation, she has been able to taper very, very slowly the Zoloft while in benzo withdrawal. That is amazing. That's pretty amazing. I mean, there's every possibility, had she not touched the Zoloft, that she would feel considerably better now from her benzo withdrawal. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's no way to know that. But my feeling is each time she has made a cut in the Zoloft, she has changed the brain chemistry slightly. I mean, the brain is very, very sensitive in benzo withdrawal, so any small change, it feels. So I'm thinking that this final little bit, 1/20th of a milligram, that final cut, the brain will initially feel it. It will feel it, but I think it will then change its rewiring plan such that it will rewire and make up for that very last little bit of Zoloft being gone. And I wouldn't think that the personalization derealization would be an issue. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I have for that. I mean, alternatively, she's down to the very, very end of the taper. She could just stay on the Zoloft, and then when the withdrawal, she feels good from the benzo withdrawal, you get off the rest of it. That's kind of my feeling. I've seen it many, many times. Like for me, the Remeron, I just couldn't get off of it while I was in benzo withdrawal. Had I maybe tapered extremely slowly, maybe I could have. I don't know. But I came off of it pretty rapidly when my benzo withdrawal was over. So yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard when you're on another drug, when you're in benzo withdrawal. You keep thinking well, what if that drug is actually, I'm not feeling any better because that drug is keeping me in withdrawal. It's like making, or maybe it's, maybe I'm tolerant to it, I'm dependent on it, and I'm in some sort of tolerance withdrawal from it. But that typically is not the case. Because people, they start coming off the other drugs, and it makes the benzo withdrawal considerably worse. I've seen that over and over. I've never known anyone who tapered off another drug while in benzo withdrawal and it didn't have an effect on them. Even she's saying she was 75% better before she started messing with the Zoloft. So she's been very, very successful. It is incredible. I tip my hat to her, because that's no small accomplishment. Believe me, I'm certain of that. Okay, so that's what I have. At 20 minutes, I could Let me see. I have a reading here I could do. Yeah, I'll read this story and then we'll be done. Okay. And I said what the title of this was the last time: Snowstorms, Realizations, Jury Duty, and Stevie Nicks. Okay, the morning coffee has been drunk and the daily workout has been done. So I sit here listening to Fleetwood Mac tunes and reflecting. Gotta love Stevie Nicks. Okay, today is the anniversary of the most special day in my healing from benzo withdrawal. The day I knew beyond any doubt I was going to be well and whole again. Actually, Wednesday was the anniversary. It was Saturday, October 29th, 2011, the day of the freak nor'easter here in central Pennsylvania. I was attending the first birthday party of my grandson Eli at the church. I had been reluctant to attend because I knew there would be many relatives from the other side of the family. I didn't know them and was still deeply immersed in my 2-year stay in the land of agoraphobia. Nevertheless, I made my way to Eli's party. Eli and I had become good buddies during my withdrawal and would have been best buddies, except that title will always be held by his uncle, who has helped me greatly back when my journey through the land of psychotropic drugs began. I had no choice. I had to go to my good buddy's celebration. I felt a little strange when I got there, but as I crawled around on the floor chasing Eli, things began to lift. When others began arriving, I was unusually able to converse with them. I was a bit nervous, but I could feel the anxiety dwindling. Of course, I was taking mental notes about the fading of these feelings that had haunted me for 2 years. I was expecting them to return at any moment. I waited. They stayed away. I went into the kitchen and talked with my brother-in-law's wife. I was calm. I could smell the aroma of coffee. It was very nice. In fact, it was so inviting that I poured myself the first cup of coffee I had in more than 2 years. Then I poured a second one, all the while taking mental notes and expecting to be hammered with a panic attack at any moment. I waited. No panic attack, only a feeling of relief and a sense that the fighting was coming to an end. It was a turning point in the war, almost like an armistice. So, today is a day of remembrance of how bad it was and how good it now is. My wife was talking to me earlier about a jury duty notice she received in the mail this week. She desperately does not want to have jury duty, but she has no choice. Of course, I thought back on the day I received the jury duty notice while I was in withdrawal. I was about 8 months from my last dose of Klonopin and immediately panicked. There was just no way I could get into the city and sit with a room full of strangers, or even friends. I shakily went online and completed the questions on the notice. The dizziness from the derealization was overwhelming. There was an out on the notice: mental illness, one of few reasons to be excused from jury duty. So I played the mental disorder card. It worked. After I sent in a note from my doctor attesting to my mental unsoundness, I was excused from jury duty for life. Far out, man. The funny thing about this is that my wife has schizophrenia, for real. It is a valid diagnosis. She does take Zyprexa to keep the symptoms at bay. One would never know she has schizophrenia. She can't use it as a reason to be excused from jury duty. I was never mentally ill, whatever that means, for even a moment in my life, yet I have a lifetime reprieve from jury duty. There's some kind of irony in there somewhere. Time to get on with the day. Vacuuming, doctor appointment to discuss an MRI of my neck, which will probably require surgery. The best margarita pizza I have ever eaten in my life at my father-in-law's, and thoughts of attending one last Penn State football game tomorrow with my friend Jason. Of course, there are thoughts of Stevie Nicks and her haunting voice. Fleetwood Mac is scheduled to perform a concert nearby in January. I hope to make my way there and hear that voice live. It's another one of those dreams. Life is good, real good. Who would have thought? Okay. I didn't get to see Fleetwood Mac. I didn't go to that. I did have the margarita pizza. Yeah, the jury duty. I had forgotten about that. Yeah, when I got that, I freaked out. I thought there's absolutely no way I can go into the city and sit in that big pool of people, and then if I actually get called for jury duty, how my cognition was so terrible. So I played the. I guess they figure when you've been given a diagnosis for I actually had 3 mental disorders by my diagnosis. I guess they figure you can never be well again or normal, and they excuse you from jury duty forever, and they have never sent me a notice for jury duty again. That's been, well, it's been quite a few years now. It's been like over 5, I guess, 6 to 7 years. So that's one of the positives. Although I did kind of like jury duty. It was always kind of fun to sit there and listen to a case, but it was no fun sitting in the big room with the pool of people while other people were actually listening to a case. See what else? Yeah, that day at Eli's first birthday party, that was an awesome day. That's one I remember very well. We had that snowstorm here. It was like right before Halloween. I remember crawling around on the floor with him, and we were just kind of playing and having fun. I remember lots of pictures, and he sat in his high chair, and he had the cake, like they put a whole cake in front of him, and he was like smashing it around and stuff. Yeah, but that was an awesome day because I knew that day, like, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty decent. It was the first time in a long, long time I had felt much of anything good. I had felt for about 3 or 4 months, I could tell like something's happening, something good is happening here, but it was that day that I knew, yeah, I'm going to be well again. I'm feeling pretty decent. See what else? There was something else I was going to say about that. I can't remember. Let me see. Snowstorms, realizations, jury duty, and Stevie Nicks. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a good day. That really, really was a good day. I went home. This is what I was thinking. I went home after that, and Penn State was on TV. Penn State football. They were playing Illinois. I think they were playing at Penn State. It was a miserable day up there. It was snow and this kind of like misty too and foggy looking, nasty looking day. And I'm sitting here, and I had just been out to Eli's birthday party feeling good, and it was that voice inside my head that said, "You don't really feel good. You're not going to get better. You're going." And I could feel like the fear well up in my chest, just for a moment. But then the other part of my brain thought, "No, remember, like you felt good out there. Remember, you're going to make it. You're going to be okay." And I did actually listen to that voice, because I knew that voice was true, that something profound was happening in me. I was healing, and it was an awesome day. And that voice only stuck around for a short time, and I sat here and I tried to just laugh about it and smile, and like, okay, you fooled me for like nearly 2.5 years. The fooling is over. That's a lie. I know the truth now. I just felt the truth when I was out to the church at his birthday party. So that was kind of like a turning point too, and like me being able to talk back to the lies that my sick brain was telling me. So great day, an awesome day. Okay, I'm at about 28 minutes here. Sitting downstairs here today in the family room. I could turn the lights on and make it a little bit better, some shadow here, but that's okay. Every once in a while I come down here and I'll do a personal video, but I don't know if I've ever actually done one for the website on here. So that's what I have. Probably watch a movie this afternoon, maybe work on this jigsaw puzzle. I probably got like 100 pieces left, but they're all red. They're all like red. There's a little bit of orangish red in some of them, but I pretty much got all the pieces that you can really tell are different. And now, I remember last year doing this. I always start with the same puzzle. It's a hummingbird and a flower and a few flowers around it. And this is the one I start with every year, and I do it exactly the same way. Like I do the frame, and then I do the hummingbird, and there's different parts of it, different colors of the background. It's funny how that is. I can remember exactly. And then the pieces that are left, all the red pieces, I'm putting them, there's certain kinds of pieces, like 6 different kinds, like the way they are shaped. So I put them like in lines, and this is the hard part. They're all red. It's going to take me a while. I have to turn on some jazz, or maybe I'll play some Alfred Hitchcock on TV or something, and maybe finish the puzzle. Probably not today. There's too many pieces yet, but anyway, that's what I have here. Couple football games on tonight, Monday Night Football. That'll be good. And we're having meatloaf, actually real beef meatloaf today, ground beef. We typically will have a ground turkey. It's okay, but ground beef is better. I like it. Mashed potatoes, gravy. What else? I forget what the vegetable is. Maybe broccoli. I'm not sure. I always eat like the green stuff on the plate first. It's not nasty, but I save the best for last, which will be well, the mashed potatoes and the meat together would be good. But that's how I eat my food. I tend to eat the vegetables first. I don't know. I kind of get that over with and have more room on my plate for the other stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I got here. I just got that one email in the last couple of days, or it was a Facebook message actually. I've gotten a couple emails that were sent to one of my Yahoo accounts, and then I forward it to my account here on the website. It's interesting when I get emails from the other account. I mean, that's a new person, because everybody that I've been helping typically will go to the website account. But so that's interesting, and I wrote back to both of them. It's a hard go, but it does end. It really does end. You're gonna be well. Things will look up. I mean, you are healing. You're always healing. Just try to remember that you are healing. You are healing. Even people who've had great improvement, like in windows and so forth, and are feeling good, and they fall back into a window. You got to keep remembering that I am healing. I am healing, and the window is evidence of that. It really is. So, anyway, that's what I got. Now I'm at 31 minutes. Hang in there. It gets a whole lot better. Trust me. I promise it does. It really does. As always, I'm right here, and I will be right here. Bye-bye.